What's up? What's going on, brothers? Hello, welcome to another fucking day of guess where your mom's at, and here I am. So what do you think that means for she is? What have I been doing lately? Nothing really different. Same. Always get that. How you been? I don't know. But same as I was last time we talked. But more days have happened. And inside of those days, different thoughts have taken me. You always wonder, like, how truthful should we be when we say that? Like, hey, how have you been doing? My first immediate response is, don't ask if you don't want to know. I can tell you exactly what my thoughts were, how it led me to certain things, the realizations that I've had from that, how I'm trying to shape now, and, you know, there's a whole fuck ton of things that I always try to just have to like try to say all these things, or do I just go, fine? Never know. Never really know anymore. What's our goal? Well, we do feel kind of bad about how we haven't even started the next Forgotten series video at all. We haven't even written anything. Hasn't even come to us, and I should probably kind of make mention of these things. One, around this time of year, as I've said before, this is too much for me. There's so much shit to be done. Working in retail, all these stupid fucking holidays going on. It makes me have a lot of shit to do, and I'm just exhausted. Simultaneously, everyone keeps getting sick at work, and so you gotta fight that all off, and it's the time of year. Christmas. I used to love Christmas. I used to love it as a child. It meant so much to me. Now I fucking hate it as an adult. And for two reasons. One, because I work in retail and I'm fucking sick of holidays. I am so tired of these American holidays, dude. I don't give a shit. But whatever, I play the game. The second reason why I don't like Christmas. You know how long it took me to realize that Christmas had something to do with Jesus? You know how many years of my life I lived until I finally knew, like, wait a minute, Christmas has something to do with Jesus? A lot longer than you would think. I was in my early 20s until I finally realized, wait a minute, Christmas? And then my wife's like, well, what the hell did you think the fucking, what is that scene called where Jesus was born? What did you think all that was? And I was like, oh, I don't know, I just thought it was like some festive thing. Like, look, everyone's gotten together. It's Christmas time, look at all these people. For some reason, we're really obsessed with them wearing robes, but whatever. And there's a baby being born and stuff. And then like, she's like, well, then what about the animals? I was like, I don't know, maybe because back in the day, we just kind of lived amongst the animals and shit. Like, I didn't fucking know. It's really hard for me to explain to people my weird upbringing. Like, my weird experience of life. Like, anytime, like for instance, my only social life as a kid was school, right? I had to go and do that fucking thing. And every time in school, every fucking time, I was talking to my wife about this last night, I would just be there and going like, what the hell is happening? And then all of a sudden someone would appear and be like, we're gonna send you to another room with some other kinds of kids. You just can't see, you're not getting it here. And I'd go in a room and there'd be like misshapen kids or kids that are incredibly autistic or in ones that are fully retarded, or there's like learning disabilities of some description. I don't know. Wheelchairs, deformed, just, or like just the plain old really like bad kids, like very bad, you know, obsessively bad kids. And I was like, why am I constantly getting to put in rooms with them? Me, you know, because it made me think, this is why I'm sure you notice I have this kind of taint that I feel like I'm a fucking retard. Because like my whole growing up, I was made to feel that way. No one explained to me why I was going in these rooms. They just said like, you need to go in here with them, where it's easier for you. And even in like, okay, here's another weird one. Swimming. In middle school, we had to take swimming class. I think we had to take it. I don't know if I had a choice. I barely remember. All I remembered was constantly sinking. I just did not know how to stay afloat. They kept telling you how to do it, and it just wasn't fucking working. I'm like, I'm doing the fucking arm thing. I'm doing the leg kicking. I'm not doing it too hard. I'm trying to be calm, but I kept just sinking to the bottom. I don't know how to stay afloat in water. I don't fuck with water. Now in that swimming class, they made the kids do the laps back and forth, you know, whatever the fuck that is. And they had to actually do swimming stuff. I just could not manage. And I just remember the swimming teacher say, why don't you go over there with those kids? And like a fucking cartoon, I look over and there's like an incredibly obese kid who's got like this water thingy that he's like happy in, you know. I forgot what it's called, like the duck thing. There's like weird looking girls and like a bunch of retarded kids basically. And they were all like special ed. And I'm like, oh, once again, here I am. Why don't you go over there with them? I go over there. And we just got to play in the shallow end while the kids were busting their ass going up and down in their little swimming Olympics things. And we just got to sit in the shallow end just kind of chilling. Like, this is great. Like, I love this. And I just think about that. From like math and English and the science stuff and the swimming class. I was always kind of led to be like, go over there with those kids. And I'm not saying those kids are like stupid. I guess they are in the academic sense, but I always found myself amongst the freaks. Let's be real. In rooms full of kids that are like either kind of delinquent and they don't take anything seriously because they're incredibly poor, or they just have learning disabilities, you know, or there's some sort of like something's happening, you know, like they either can't speak or like they can't function. Like there's always something. There's a blind girl, you know what I mean? Like, just kids that were different. And I was always with them growing up for my entire schooling. And so you have to wonder and not be surprised when I say like, man, I have a really hard time knowing if I know what's right in this world. Because anytime I would question something, and not question like one of those kids that was like, come on, shut the fuck up. Because they're like, actually, you know, at the back of the class. I wasn't that kind of a questioning kid. I was a questioning kid, like I silently was watching going like, what the fuck is this? What the fuck are we doing? What is this shit? I was in school feeling that way. I was a quiet kid. I wasn't boisterous. I never got in trouble. So my questioning was much more passive. And because I was like that, it was just like throw his ass in special ed. I don't even know if they still call it that, but that's what they called it when I went to school, special ed. Sped kids, they called us. We got our own little bus. You know, we got to go on and do more fun things. A lot more movie watching, a lot less learning. A lot more hand holding, where they would do it for you. And that really shaped me as an adult, of like how I struggle to do things on my own, because I feel like I never got that validation of like, hey, you're different. You see things differently, and that's better than what all these other fucking kids are doing. Like, no one ever made me feel that way. In most senses, they made me feel like a nuisance. Like, oh, jeez, he's not fucking playing along. Put him with the retards. And I just would just, you know what I mean? And so it was always like very difficult for me to like have confidence. Like I get, when I would be around people, I feel like they wouldn't understand where I came from, and they think it was just normal, you know, or they think it's easy for me to come up with anything halfway intellectual. And it's like, a lot of my life, I didn't go home and I wasn't told that you're going to go to college and you're going to do this and you're going to do that. I didn't get that shit. Someone building me up to be something. Going to school, no one ever made me feel like I was anything. I just accepted the fact that I was a loser and I wasn't going to do nothing. And the best thing I was ever going to do is what I'm doing right now. Work in a grocery store. I knew that. I accepted my fate. It's only until recently I realized, like, holy fuck, I am capable of intellect. Why didn't anyone fucking tell me this shit? Why did I have to sit here and goddamn fucking feel like I'm a retard? Why is that gotta be the case? You know what I mean? I know certain people are gonna be pussies about the word retard. Just get over yourself, man. It's gonna be a word we're using. That's the word I heard a lot growing up. You're gonna hear it now too. You'll be fine. But anyway, it's like, in some ways, it gave me this shell, this mentality, this thing that encompassed me. I am a poor kid, lives in a trailer park. I'm stupid. I don't have a future because no one's told me I could have one. And I just gotta kind of, that's just be. And a lot of my peers, they would turn to drugs, they would turn to doing naughty things, you know, having kids as teenagers and just looking for love, man. And that's what they all did. Not a lot of them are successful in any way. I think a couple went in the military because, you know, that's what they do with those ones. That's good fodder. And so it really shaped me, man. Like, in a way that I'm kind of pissed off. This is that whole thing where I look at America, I'm like, really? You don't give a fuck. If you're playing the game, they pretend to care about you. But if you fucking don't, they don't give a flying Christmas about you. And we act like that's normal. You know what I mean? That's what I always get irritated about. The kids that went somewhere that I noticed from high school were the cookie cutter kids that did whatever they were told. Thought the way they were supposed to think, did what they're supposed to do, watched the videos that they're supposed to watch, and behaved the way they're supposed to. And they got their successes because they played the fucking game. And like, looking at the kids that were like me, I don't know about them. I don't know what they're up to, where they're at. I don't keep track of that, but it really bummed me out thinking about all this stuff. Like, damn, dude, I wasn't really given a chance. Shocking, you know, poor kid. They like to say it's a color thing or it's a skin color thing, but come on, man. Quit fucking around. Like, it's about whether your parents have money or not. And if you didn't come from money, you didn't get to experience things you wanted. From tiny things, from, like, I remember I really wanted to play hockey. That was my favorite sport, but I'm poor growing up. So I just accepted, like, yeah, that's never going to happen. That's not going to happen for me, so I'm going to have to accept that. And luckily, I was able to convince my friends to play. So that's three of us, and I'll be the goalie. And we had to convince the neighborhood trailer park kids to stop what they were doing and play hockey with us. And it was really, had to convince them. And hockey's a sport that people will instantly fall in love with if you understand it. It's a weird sport like that. It's probably the greatest sport that exists. And I was always like, man, I was so envious of other kids that I hear about that could go and play on teams. That they got to wear real equipment. We had to make my equipment out of whatever we found and stole from people's sheds, or we constructed it out of wood and stuff. Like, my equipment was pretty crazy. You know, the shit that I would wear to be the goalie. Golf clubs and a winter glove, and then we glued a wooden board on top of it. And then my catching one was we stole a baseball glove, stole a chest protector, and then we stole some those legs that the catchers would wear. And I'm like, well, I'll just have to be better at making leg saves than a real goalie looks like. But yeah, we made our own net. We had to hand make a net out of wood and stuff. It was pretty good. But like, I was like so envious of kids that talked about playing in leagues and stuff. And I was like, man, I'm so sick of being poor. You know, I really want this. I want to live like that. I want to have things. I want to be able to do fucking what I want to do. But there was that special ed, poor kid mentality that was like, yeah, congratulations, you want to do things, but it's too fucking bad. You don't have the opportunity to do them. The thing that they say happens to ethnic people, dude, it happens to, it's not a skin color thing, it's your fucking, like, how much money you have. It was like, you want to do things, but no one gives a fuck because you're not popular, right, at school, right? Because if you're quiet like I was, like, no one gives a fuck. They don't give a flying Christmas about you, and then you don't have any money, so you couldn't go on trips and shit and form bonds or play in leagues and shit like that because it costs money. Parents couldn't afford to fucking pay the little dues for the school activities. So it made you kind of an outsider in a way. But then also growing up in a trailer park and being made fun of for that, being made fun of for being poor, which I think is a really weird thing to do as a child to another child, to make fun of them because their family's poor. Not only does the child have nothing to do with that, but I don't know how to explain it. It's just a weird thing. You know that's how their parents are, because that kid doesn't just act that way. Their parents are like that, which is pitiful. And so it's like, it shaped my mind in such a way where I've kind of like realized I'll never be anything, and it doesn't matter what I think. Nobody gives a fuck. No one cares. You just don't get it, you know, or because you don't play the game, you know, you're just stupid in some way, shape, or form. You know, they roll their eyes at you when you don't understand things, and it's affected me as an adult, because I don't I don't necessarily understand what life really is. And I've chosen as an adult to be an isolationist, where I don't get into the mind thoughts of my culture around me. Whether that's from Christianity to being an American, to being political, you know, a Democrat or Republican. Like, I don't play any of that. I don't want to play it. I don't even understand it. I pushed it all away, and so it just kind of felt like you didn't ever care about me before, but now magically you want me around? I don't think so. I don't trust that shit. And so it's kind of shaped me in a way that I gotta kind of feng shui that. I'm not trying to like make a huge bitch fest. I guess my point that I'm trying to get across is like, it's really shaped the way that I fucking behave. Can you guys knock it off? Quit playing with your fucking toy in here. Always fucking Fred. Anyway, it's shaped the way that I fucking feel and think and all that, right? Shocking that you watch this video and you hear some of the fucking thoughts that I have. That should not be shocking. You should be like, yeah, sounds like a guy that doesn't get it, right? And that was always something that I was kind of made to feel like, you just don't get it. You're just not seeing it right. You know, we can just re-educate you, and then we can kind of show you how it is. It's how I always was made to feel. Because I would just say, like, I don't know, man. I think that's kind of stupid. I don't know, man. Like, that's dumb. And I would feel kind of shitty about it. But it's only until late that I don't feel shitty about that anymore. I feel kind of blessed. Because I wasn't convinced to join these little thought forms. From religion to politics, culture, you know, big fucking swaths of ideas. The struggle that I had was I believed what everyone said before. I would just be like, well, you're in the game and you have your opinion, so why not that just be right? Whatever, I don't give a fuck. And I would accept people's opinions. Even if I did not agree, I would have wholehearted conversations with family and friends. And they would say shit that I do not agree with at all. But I would be like, well, you're righter than me because my opinion doesn't matter. So, yes, I will adopt your views on whatever the hell it is. And I would do that because why not? I don't give a fuck. But if I give a fuck to you, then you'll stay around me. I'm like, well, that keeps them around if I agree with them. Something I had to unlearn. But now as an adult, I'm able to free think and say, like, wait a minute. You don't have to believe what they say because you care about them. It never dawned on me. I just allowed you to have your opinions and your thoughts, and I pretended to agree with it, and I just said, like, whatever, like, my opinion doesn't matter because I don't know anything. But now, I don't do that anymore. And not in an aggressive way. You know, if we get together and you want to talk about something, whatever the fuck it is, if you're concerned about a viewpoint that I have no problem doing it. I'll listen, and I'll talk to you about it. Whatever it takes. But I think the difference between me and maybe someone else, I don't want to convince you of what I think and feel. I don't care. Like, I guess with all of that shit I just said, the biggest thing in this world that irritates me, so everyone just fucking thinks they're right. If you have the opinion, it's got to be right. Why would it be right? Well, because you had it. And it was reaffirmed by some of the comments I get where everyone's just, I know. And they want to tell me, you know? That's always how it is. Like, why do you got to tell me? I don't know. But everyone's got it, and they're always right. Blows my mind, you know? I'm shocked by it. And I would just be like, they gotta be kidding. This has gotta be a joke. But I don't know. It's hard to tell anymore. And I guess it makes me lose respect for people the more they pretend to know. I mean, sometimes we're talking about some pretty immense shit. And I'm like, you just fucking know, right? But you're not doing anything about it, you know, whether it's politics or whether it's, I don't know, man, some big topic. I love how everyone knows, but they're doing nothing. You know what's going on in Christianity or this and that, but like you have nothing to do with the church. Like, what are you talking about? You don't know, or else you'd be a part of it, man. Or politics is the biggest one, you know. Everyone's got some fucking opinion about politics, but no one's doing anything. They're just sitting there reading about it on their phone. I'm like, that's not, Like, if you're, fucking go in it, man, if you're gonna believe it. So it's like, it really shaped, my whole journey has really shaped the way I see things, and now I'm finally coming out of this dream. A dream where I was the passenger in my own experience, as they say, is like a modern idea of this. I would be everyone's accompanying piece. Whatever you are, I will shape myself to it and I will help you. It's why I have such great skills in being in a group setting. When I'm on my own and I'm trying to write or I'm trying to make music, I'm like, I don't know. But if I'm in a group, man, all of a sudden, like, I know how to fucking just like, oh, then you do this and you do, like, I do well in group settings because I was always an accompanying piece. How can I make you better? The art that I make in groups is amazing. The art that I make by myself, I don't know. Sometimes I wonder about it because I don't have the skill yet. It's taking me some time, you know. This is not like a doom and gloom thing. It's just I'm telling you the past so I can tell the future. It was something that I realized, and as I would accompany people all the time, I would be unfulfilled. I would enjoy things, but I'd be unfulfilled because no one is asking me about what I want to do. Can you quit going crazy, please? Relax. Relax. Here he comes. Here he is. Boy wonder. Frederick. Handsome Fred. One more picture of handsome Fred. Handsome boy. He's handsome. Right, Fred? Hi. Hi, Fred. He's a little cross-eyed. He's a handsome boy. He just likes to run around and go crazy. Right, Frederick? Here he comes. Here he comes. It's okay. Just hop up. Come on. Come on. Come here. Come. There you go. There you go, handsome. So yeah, it's many things have shaped the way I feel. But like, as I'm finally getting out of it, it feels like I was saying, it feels like I'm coming out of a dream. And as I'm coming out of my dream, and this has been happening in the past like year, since I began book 2, do I feel like, and I don't even know who the fuck I am, because my entire life was me serving other people. And I'm not trying to say anything negative about the people in my life, because they probably watch this and I don't want no one thinking it's a negative thing. I just mean I never cared about myself. From my sister and my friends when I was a kid, to, I was a bit of a loner in late high school, and then just graduated and didn't have friends for some years. And then outside of that, my friends that I met in my 20s, I would always serve everyone else and be their everything, whatever they needed me to be, and I just was never really allowed to be myself. And I guess in some ways, the minute I felt like I was being myself, the more I felt like no one cared, or they didn't want to be around for that. And I was like hurt by it. I was like, man, no one really wants me. They want me to be whatever they want me to be. And it's only until late that I finally realized, like, I don't know who I am, and we need to figure this out. And you've been watching it on these videos. You see that be my topic, about knowing self and all that. It's because that's what I'm going through. And I flash back to all that stuff I was telling you about as a kid. It's being a poor kid, living in a trailer. It was full of black mold. We couldn't drink our water. It had shit in it. We couldn't, like, what was the other shit? I don't even remember. It was really cold. It was freezing in there. There was a lot of holes in the floors. We had to put boards and shit over them. I didn't get to have my own room. The ceiling had collapsed in there, and then they half gutted it, and then they were about ready to build it back up. For some reason, we just never finished it. So I never got to have my own room. I had to share with my sister for years. And then always kind of not having what I want. I don't really remember some of the other negative things growing up, just to kind of paint a picture. I got called faggot a lot in school by the trailer park kids because I liked wearing sailor outfits. I liked dressing up. I loved outfits. I always have. Something about the uniforms and shit. And I got called faggot a fuck ton. Even though I was never gay. Like, I always joke about people, like, if you were to see me as a little kid, you heard me speak, because I spoke a little bit more as what they would say gay. And you saw how I dressed in sailor outfits, and I was always hanging around with girls and shit. You would have thought, oh, he's gonna grow up and be gay. But somehow I didn't. I don't know, I did somehow. But anyway, there's that stuff going on as a kid, and then in school I just felt kind of disenfranchised, like I wasn't understood, and special ed, I just told you about all that shit. And then I was always kind of isolated and alone. And then we flashed to now, where I'm like, who were you that whole time? What were you that whole time? With all that being said, what the fuck were you? And I'm just like, I don't know. Me? I have no idea. And so I've kind of felt, for a lot of, years, I've always felt like I'm a little behind because I'm trying to figure shit out for myself the first time. I'm 33 years old, and the kind of stuff that I feel like I could have been like this at 23 if I had encouragement. If I grew up in a family with money, I feel like I could have been encouraged, and I would have been this capable at 23. And I would have been able to, like, been encouraged to get a better job, and I would have been encouraged to rise above, and I would have been a writer. But that's not what it was, man. I used to get mad at rich people because they just got whatever they wanted because it was handed to them. They don't see it that way. But when you grow up rich, it's handed to you, man, whether you believe it or not. Your parents had enough money to get you to do things you wanted. Must have been real nice. So there's a lot of confliction. A lot of confliction, I'm mad at rich kids, I'm mad at society, I'm mad at myself for being retarded. And then here I sit now saying, like, yeah, whatever, that shit all happened. There was a lot of good things that happened in my life. My friendships, the things I learned from them, and people I got to meet, and the fun experience I've had with my family. Like, don't get me wrong, it wasn't this horrible thing. We're just painting a certain picture in these videos. We're focusing more on the basement than we are anything else, that's all. And I just wondered to myself, who am I out of all of that? And I couldn't answer it. We're talking only a few years ago. It's like, I don't fucking know who I am. How the hell am I supposed to know that? No one told me yet. I'm waiting on someone to tell me what I am and how I fit in the grand scheme. My political persuasion. Tell me what my religion should be. Tell me what I should be. I don't understand. What do I need to do? What potential should I have? Tell me how great I am. Tell me how shitty I am. You know, from being a musician, I need other people to validate me, to, you know, certain people wanting to tell me what I should be politically, or someone telling me what I should be religious-wise, however you say that, religiously. What kind of job I should have. You know, I would always do that. Like, what do you think I should do? Because every time they'd say, well, what do you think? I'd be like, I don't know. What the fuck would I know that? Why do I care? It's just been a really weird journey. It really has. And it's like coming out of that and going like, you know, I need to figure out my own shit. And the only way I could do that is to feng shui the entirety of society. And say, fuck all that shit. Fuck all the games. Fuck all the politics, the religion. Fuck all the modern cultural things. I don't give a shit about your fucking race stuff. I don't care about your... I don't know, man. Like, just... all the things that people fucking do. From the YouTube channels they watch, to the fucking shows they like, to... I don't care. So I've kind of become this isolationist. Because I basically had to push everything out to empty myself fully and to say, okay, we're going to build from the ground up. That was a lot of work. From interpreting my childhood, to analyzing my friendships, to realizing my belief system, to finding my own way. And I've just been building and building, and I'm finally becoming my own person. At 3 years old, I'm finally becoming my own person. There was no roadmap to this. There was no deep encouragement. It was just, figure it the fuck out if you're gonna do it kind of mentality, like society has, you know? Put you behind the wheel and say, don't fuck up kind of mentality, right? That's our society. That's how it works. So it's been a lot of trial and error. But these videos are supposed to be a chronicle of that. That's the purpose they serve. For modernity, right? No, I'm kidding. For the future. They're for, like, however you say that, like, down the line, if someone's ever curious, how did this person get from here to here? I thought, well, we'll do a 2 days a week vlog of just our feelings and everything. That way you can truly see what a person I am. And like I've told people before, and that's everything, whether it's words that you don't like to hear because they're offensive, to opinions that may be a bit crass or offensive. Like, no, man, I'm going to be it because you need to see reality, not this phony shit. And I thought that was really crucial to do because I know what I'm doing. I'm writing this book and I know how great it can be. And so I know there's going to come a time where someone's going to want to know about the fucking dude that wrote this fucking thing. So that's what these are. Is that egotistical? I guess. But that's how good I know this book is. Like, people are going to want to fucking read it. It's great. It's genius, I think. I think it's really, really good. And I'm not ashamed to say that. So in my mind, I'm like, you need to know the person that made it. That way there's none of this weird shit that can happen. You know, like, if you watch a documentary of, like, some famous person in history, and they talk about where they lived, and they're like, and the politics in that area, this was going on, so it must have affected them this, and that way. I want to, like, I think it would be so fun to be like, yeah, you know, like, during America at that time, there was a lot of unrest, and a lot of this, and that. But he didn't give a fuck. You know, I'm excited for that. The reality of, like, some people don't care about that kind of stuff. So that makes me happy knowing, you know, like, I did kind of care in a sense, but I cared because people are morons. And I feel like they're all doing that, like, my whole life, I feel like, is everyone's life but no one's going to admit it. They're all pretending like, nah, it's not my life. I never felt like I had to do things. Most people will deny that. And I'm just saying, nope, it's happened to me and it's happening to you every day. And it's fine. You're fine. You just got to get out of it. Most people don't. Or if they try to get out of it, they get out of it through someone else. Or they just copy and paste. Like, oh, I like Nietzsche. I'm going to just copy paste his stuff. Or Freud, or whatever that fucker's name is. Jung. Most people just do that at the most. Like, I'll just copy paste a philosopher. And then that's it. I don't really know if I believe it or not. But he sounds right. I agree with it. And that's what most people will ever do. You just got to kind of accept that. Because to do it your own way is to come across like I do, which is like a fucking fool. I know some of my half-brain fucking ideas are foolish. I can hear myself. I can go like, ugh, fuck, it's embarrassing, but whatever. It's truth. This video, I don't know. Did I not get fiery enough about my anger? No, but I don't care right now. I'm tired. I'm weary. You know, it's funny. I told you I'm reading Dracula. I have not been reading it for about a week because I just forget. I'm like over halfway through it. I'm on like the 3/4 stretch. And I met with this thing that happens every time. This is my ending note I'll leave you with. I hate endings. I don't like climaxes. If I talk about the Star Wars trilogy, I don't like Return of the Jedi. If we talk about Lord of the Rings, I don't like the Return of the King. I don't like the endings of things. I don't like the big climax that leads to the big payoff. I always hated it. Even in like Fellowship of the Ring, I don't like the last 30 minutes to 40 minutes of the movie. I'm like, I don't care anymore. Once Mines of Moria happen, I'm out. I don't care. Star Wars, once they get to the Death Star, I don't give a shit. It was always like that. That thing they say that society you have to do in storytelling and music, you have to have this build up and you have to have this resonance and then you gotta have the climax and then the resolve. I hate that shit. I love the mundane. My favorite part of Fellowship of the Ring was always them hanging out in the Shire. Once that is over, I'm done. Star Wars, when he's on Tatooine. Once he leaves Tatooine, I'm out of it. I don't give a shit anymore. And I always talk to my wife, I'm like, I would love to read a story where nothing happens. Where a guy lives his life, has a day-to-day, there's not a climax in it. There's not like, and then he found a mystery and he had to solve, or and then this happened, he joined a cult, or no. Every single day, and then he dies. Like, that's the shit I'm into. I love boring and mundane. The part of the story where like the characters disagree and then the one walks off mad and then they have that period of like, oh, you know, maybe he was right, and there's a montage and this song's happening at that time. Like, I fucking hated that stuff. I would fast forward through it. Or the ending fight of some fucking action movie where they have to, the bad guys finally meets the big antagonist and they have a fight. I would just fast forward through that part. Like, I don't want to see this shit. The reason I felt that way is because I was always, it was mirrored to my experience where I never felt a part of anything, so I never cared. I did not give a fuck about the hero's journey. Because to me, the hero was some other fucking guy living a life that I don't care about. Why root for someone I don't know? Luke Skywalker? I don't know who the fuck that is. It led me to this realization that I was such an isolationist and a separatist in my own way that I didn't really care about the human journey. And because I didn't care about someone else's journey, I never really had my own. I was sitting, just rotting away, wasting the potential that I have. Now, I still don't enjoy those things, but I'm writing my own fucking journey. I'm making my own book. I'm doing my own fucking thing. And though it's difficult, one of the hardest things I've ever done was make this series, the Forgotten series, and write my book. It's the hardest thing I've ever done because I don't know what to do. I'm finally doing something for myself of a journey, and I'm finally telling you a story that is not me copying and pasting some other fucker's opinion, but me telling myself what I think this shit is all about. And though right now, in the immediate future, no one gives a fuck, I know that one day the right person will find it, and they'll kickstart the idea of how great it really is. I will be long dead, but I think people will really begin to realize the greatness of this work that I'm doing. Because it's something that everyone can do, you included. But anyway, it's time to go. We're gonna see what we'll do for the day. I don't know. We'll find out.